Real plumber reacts to laborer's work. Does a laborer know more than a licensed plumber?
I'd like to show you a couple other options that you may want to consider.
Oh, don't you even.
Works fine too. A lot of people frown upon these.
Yeah, you frown on them because they're illegal as hell. This guy's gonna get your plumbing system jacked up. I'm gonna review this laborer's attempt to fix common plumbing issues. Now guys, I'm not saying a laborer can't do it. Some people like that are great as long as they know their limits. They don't get into plumbing, electrical, and HVAC or anything that requires a professional license. So let me jump in here and see what we come up with.
While I was installing this sink, I realized that the P-trap is not lining up with the sink.
Okay, so first of all, he's installing this. Now, I'm gonna stop right here and say the very first thing I see is he didn't put a scutcheon zone behind the pipe here. Now, it also looks like plastic pipe coming out. I always want copper coming out. Now, it looks like it could be CPVC. I mean, I can't even tell. It looks like it could be PEX. It's white, so I don't know. You've got compression fittings on here. I prefer the copper. I prefer sweated fittings, but that's me. I like the copper because the plastic can move so much. So anyway, let's just keep going here. And I see what he's talking about. The P-trap is off. So let's see what he does here.
Drain, I'm going to show you how I'm going to fix it. And if you're new to this channel, my name's Josh. This channel is all about DIY to save a ton of money. So be sure to subscribe, ring that bell so you get a notification every time I release a new video, and hammer that like button for me. That's all I ask in return for making this video. So we got a cool idea to go over today, so let's get started. I was in the middle of installing this sink for a course for my memberships. And if you'd like to check that out, I'll put a link to it in this.
Okay, if you've got a handyman, laborer, teaching plumbing install videos for a course, the first thing he should understand is you need a license to do that. But anyway.
Description below, it's a good deal. You can't pass it up. But when I got to installing this P-trap, it did not line up properly. So how a plumber would address this probably totally different than how I'm going to do it. I'm going to show
Guys, remember what he just said there. How a plumber would address this is probably totally different than I'm going to. Well, that should tell you something right there. A plumber's going to do it the right way. I'll leave it at that. Come on, Josh.
I'm going to do it so it's at least functional and I shouldn't have any issues. Along with fixing this sink,
Now, I like this. It's at least functional and I'm not going to have any issues.
Fix another sink later in this video around the 5-minute mark, so stay tuned till the end to see the second fix. Here's what we got going on here. Here's the 1.5-inch pipe back in the wall. We have the adapter for the 1.25-inch P-trap. Here is our 1.25-inch pipe coming off of our sink drain. Whenever we place our P-trap back into that adapter, you can see we are missing that pipe. The exact measurement is 2 inches, so we are missing it by 2 inches. So we got to make up that difference to get this 2 inches to the right so this lines up better. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to address that. Because this adapter was originally for the 1.25-inch transition from the 1.5-inch pipe, I need to transition this back to the 1.5-inch pipe. I have an adapter that's going to thread right onto here and then converts back to an 1.5-inch pipe so we can address this issue. I first need to wrap tape.
Okay, so what he's doing is he's creating a restriction right there. It's going to go back to 1.5 inch. So literally, you're going to have an 1.5 inch pipe coming in, the 1.5 inch tubular. Then he's got, and I want to, you know what? This may not be too bad. Okay, so what he's doing, he's taking the 1.25 inch tubular threads, is what it looks like, putting on an 1.25 inch by 1.5 inch threaded bushing. Let's see how this turns out.
Tape going clockwise, and then I'm going to place pipe dope onto that to make this connection.
So he's Tefloning it up, putting some pipe dope.
Now going to install that adapter
pipe dope on
onto the other adapter.
Okay, now here's what I don't like right here. If you look inside, you can see these threads right here, or you can see the inside of that fitting. Guys, that's going to be a flow restriction. That's going to catch that's going to help gels, toothpaste, shaving cream, anything like that build up along the bottom of this pipe, and that eventually leads to a stoppage.
Now that I transitioned
see how you see that flow restriction right there?
1.5 elbow, I'm now going to dry fit the 1.5 elbow and angle it towards the direction we want to make sure it works. And I glued on an adapter already.
Okay, and that's a short radius 90. That's also going to be a problem. Now, see what he's doing. So he's going from 1.25 to 1.5 back down to 1.25 there, and then out. Guys, this is not a good way to do it.
It's going to come into it. So as you can see, it's going to work out, and this is the end to where the 1.25 P-trap is going to go into the elbow. I'm going to take the P-trap, and then I'm going to pivot it back like so it slides into that elbow. And you can see that this needs to be extended down in order to catch that P-trap. So it looks like we don't really need to cut any off the P-trap per se. We just need to install an extender here. Here's the extender that I'm going to install. If I hold this up to the pipe coming out of the drain, you can see if we cut just about this much off of it, that should get us in the ballpark to be able to connect this together once everything's glued together.
My only issue is this. Look, you put a hard 90 on there. Why didn't you just put a 45 point straight at it and make it look a lot better? Anyway, I'm going to skip ahead on this one because I already know how it turns out. So here's the final product. It comes down, it loops around. I mean, he's got this pitched up really, really high.
All right, you can now see we got our trap here and that we made it over to that drain. Get instant access to the excellent labor.
And there's his finished product.
I'm over here on the other sink working on hooking up the P-trap, and I ran into a problem that's actually a pretty common problem. I'm going to show you how to address it. The drain that's in the wall is offset.
And my thought is, guys, if he's installing all this, he probably plumbed it too. If you do it right and put the drains where they're supposed to be, you don't run into this problem. That's why a licensed plumber is a better person to learn this from.
To the right a little bit too much, about 1 inch, so I'm going to show you how to bring that over. Let me show you what I'm talking about. The problem comes in right here. If we put the P-trap back here in the wall where it belongs, as you can see, we're missing this tailpipe about 1 inch. We're about 1 inch to the right.
Yeah, it's about 2 inches off again.
So we need to bring it over to here.
Hey Mr. Labor, you came up 2 inches short.
From here to there, I rigged up this part that consists of a threaded end that's going to go over this adapter on the wall.
Same thing you did in the other one.
We got 2 short elbows here that's going to bring it over like so, and then this is going to hook into there, and then this is going to hook onto our tailpipe.
Okay, so literally what he did here, he just did 2 45s to just move it over a little bit. That's fine, but he could have just done 1 45, pointed it right at it, and then put the P-trap on. Learn from a licensed plumber.
What this looks like after it's all glued
an unlicensed
together.
laborer.
Whenever gluing together fittings, it's important to try to be in a more ventilated area if possible, so I decided to do this out in a larger room. After I got it all permanently glued together here, as you can see, it shifted it over a perfect amount for the P-trap to go into.
No escutcheon back here. So you leave that open now, any of the air in the walls, critters, things like that, it's really easy for all that stuff to go back and forth.
As you can see, it works just fine. So there are options in case you didn't get it perfect.
It will work just fine, except where he put that first fitting on, where he threaded it on, he created a flow restriction there that's going to end up stopping up
I'd like to show you a couple other options that you may want to consider.
Oh, don't you even.
That works fine too. A lot of people frown upon these flexible drains.
You frown on them because they're illegal as hell.
Work if you really have to. I agree, they're not the best option.
They're illegal. They don't work.
Let's say you want to install this trap. This is 1.5 inches.
This guy's going to get your plumbing system jacked up.
But if you did install this, you would stretch this out and flex coming from your drain over to your P-trap.
That flex will catch all the gels, toothpaste, shaving creams, anything that you got.
If you didn't want to worry about the trap,
it'll clog up all that.
These just extend out like so, and you can see you can flex these.
Why didn't you use that for your 2-inch offset?
Debris has a tendency to get caught in these areas, so that's why a lot of people don't like to use these. So that's why we do try to avoid them if we can.
All I can tell you guys is, look, I'm glad it recommends me here. Yeah. Plumbing fails, how I would fix them, not the way he did. Guys, all I got to tell you is, look, if you really want to learn plumbing, don't learn it from a laborer. Learn it from a licensed plumber that's going to do it right each and every time. Anyway, I'm not very happy with this. I can't believe people are on here showing people how to do bad stuff, but it is what it is. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. And if you love this video, I'm sure you're going to like that one. And if you've already subscribed, go ahead and ring the bell so you don't miss out on anything.